In Chapter 1, we talked about what happens inside the claims machine after a major storm. Claims are coming in fast and the phones are ringing nonstop. Insureds need answers fast. Insurance companies are just trying to move files. And unfortunately, when the volume gets high enough, speed can take precedence over accuracy. Now, in this chapter, what I want to talk about is what happens after the first estimate gets written, because this is the part where homeowners start hearing that one word over and over again: supplement. And depending upon who you ask, that word means different things. To an insurance company, that word might sound like additional money being requested after the fact. To a contractor, that supplement can mean that the estimate's missing line items that could actually be needed to complete the project. To a homeowner, it usually just means confusion. They thought the claim was already handled. They thought the insurance company has already wrote the estimate. They thought the payment they received was supposed to cover the work. Then the contractor looks at it and is like, hey, this estimate's missing things. And now the homeowner is stuck in the middle asking, okay, so who's actually right? That is why supplements became such a big part of the problem in Florida. And I want to be very clear here. A supplement is not automatically fraud. Sometimes it is. Sometimes a contractor is indeed trying to get line items added that aren't owed. Sometimes a public adjuster indeed is trying to raise the price. And sometimes people are actually trying to game the system. That does happen. But a lot of times a supplement exists because the estimate didn't tell the whole story. And that's the part most people don't understand. When an initial estimate is written by somebody too fast or by somebody who doesn't really understand the roof, the policy, the building code, the things that are actually required, things get missed. Maybe the estimate includes shingles, but does not include the proper flashing. Maybe it includes roof coverings, but missed code items. Maybe it does not account for rotten decking that has to be addressed once the roof is opened up. Maybe it misses drip edge, underlayment, permit requirements, or other items needed to complete the project correctly. Maybe it's a tile roof, and the estimate treats it like it's a simple shingle repair, when the material is discontinued or not repairable. And when that happens, the problem does not just disappear. It gets delayed. That was one of the biggest problems I saw on the insurance side. You would have the initial wave of claims. Everybody's trying to get through them. Everybody is trying to make contact. They're trying to make contact, inspect, estimate, pay, and then just move on. But then later, guess what? Those claims, they come back. The homeowner calls back. Guess what? The contractor sends in a supplement. Then the public adjuster gets involved. Oh, nope, now the attorney's involved. And then guess what? The claim gets reopened. And now the claim is more complicated than it was the first time. Because now we're not just handling the original damage. Now you're handling disagreement, frustration, missed expectations, additional documentation, someone saying, this should have been paid from the beginning. And in my experience, those reopened claims can be way more time-consuming than the initial claim. And this is where the supplement factory starts. It's not always one big dramatic thing. It is thousands of little mistakes, missed items, rushed estimates, unclear decisions, inconsistent claim handling that all come back later. And once that starts happening at scale, it becomes expensive. Expensive for the insurance company, expensive for the contractor, expensive for the homeowner, and eventually it becomes expensive for the entire market. Because now you have more phone calls, more inspections, more estimates, disputes, delays, more people involved, and just more administrative costs. In a lot of cases, more frustration from everybody. Now, from the contractor side, I understand why supplements happen. If you're a roofer and the estimate doesn't include what it actually takes to complete the job, you cannot just ignore that. You have labor, material, code requirements, permit requirements, manufacturer specifications, and have the actual reality of installing the roof. So if the estimate's missing necessary items, the contractor is going to request more money. That is not automatically wrong. But on the other side, insurance companies also do have a legitimate concern. They can't just pay everything someone asks for, because some supplements are inflated. Some are poorly documented. Some include things that aren't even covered, or include things that are not related to the loss. Some include items that are more about upgrading the home than they are about restoring the damage. So, once again, both things can be true. Some supplements are legitimate, and some are not. The problem is when the system cannot consistently tell the difference. This is where Florida got messy. Because if the insurance writes a clean, accurate, well-documented estimate on the front end, there's less room for confusion later. But if the estimate's thin, rushed, or incomplete, it creates a fight on the back end. And that fight is usually more expensive than just getting it right the first time. This is the part I wish more people understood. A cheap initial estimate is not always actually cheaper. If that estimate causes the claim to reopen, causes a contractor dispute, causes a public adjuster to get involved, causes an attorney to get involved, or causes the homeowner to lose trust in the process, then what did we really save? Probably nothing. We just moved the cost to later. And that is one of the big themes of this whole series. It did not get here because of just one bad group. It got here because the system kept pushing the problem down the road. Incomplete estimates became supplements, supplements became disputes, disputes became reopened claims. Represented claims became higher claim costs, higher claims costs became pressure on premiums, and homeowners ended up paying for it, even the ones who never filed a claim. So when people talk about supplements like they're always a scam, I think that is too simple. And when people talk about supplements like they're always justified, I think that is too simple also. The truth is somewhere in the middle. A supplement should be simple. Show what was missed, why it was needed, how it relates to the covered damage, the documentation, then make a fair decision based on the policy. That should be the process. But in Florida, especially after a major storm, the process became inconsistent. And inconsistency creates conflict. This is what Chapter 2 is really about. The supplement problem was not just about contractors asking for more money. It was about the first estimate not always being accurate enough to finish the job. And once that happens a few times across the state, you don't just have a few reopened claims, you have a factory. A supplement factory. And in the next chapter, we're going to talk about the biggest reason why these claims are so expensive in the first place. Tile roofs. Because tile roofs changed the math in Florida. And once discontinued tile, matching issues, building code, and repairability entered the conversation, roof claims went to a whole different level. And that, my friends, is where Chapter 3 begins. I'll see you there.